We're going live. All right. Before I start talking about things, I'm just going to double check because I'm supposed to be simultaneously broadcasting this to both YouTube and Twitch. So let me just make sure because I'm new to Twitch, guys. So let me just make sure it's going up right on both of them. It looks like, it looks like we're going on Twitch. Twitch stream looks good. YouTube stream looks like it's happening. All right. Everything looks good. Okay. So I'm going to say hi to everyone in the chat in just a minute. Before I get started though, so just kind of an overview of what the stream is going to entail. Today I'm going to be making potato soup and ranting about a very important topic. It's going to be like a creamy, cheesy baked potato soup. So if you guys were on my stream, my cooking stream on Tuesday night, I made a bunch of bacon and I made extra bacon so that I could put bacon in the soup. I also have green onions for it, and then I have some cheese, and then I have all my ingredients here. I don't think my sour cream is good anymore. I'm not sure exactly how to tell, so I think I'm going to thicken it with flour instead, but that's probably what's going to happen. I'm not going to be following a recipe exactly because I feel like I'm pretty good at soup. So I feel like the soup's going to turn out well. We'll see though. Who knows? Let's see. Megan says, I'm just here to say hi, but I'll catch the replay later. Awesome. Awesome. Pika Power says, going to listen to this while working on my comic. Your streams really help my productivity. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you. Kat Benson is here. Hello, Kat. Lizzie Stockwell says, I'm here and I'm queer. Love it. Ava says, hey, Savvy, and hi to everyone watching. Ava, I'm glad you made it. Dude, Ava, earlier, I tried the Tom Nook. It turned out awful, so I wiped it off before the stream started. But that's because I was doing it by myself and not following you. So, Ava says, can't get enough of your live streams. Thank you. RK says Matt, but like that is some tsundere shit because RK has been messaging me all day like, Savvy, oh my God, how is there still 4 hours left to your stream? I can't wait till your stream. So like, don't pretend you're not excited to be here. Cheyenne is here. Hello. Amanda says, currently working on your makeup basics list. Thank you. I appreciate that. What am I burning today? Potatoes. You got your COVID vaccine? Dude, I am jealous. I cannot wait to get my COVID vaccine. Let's see. Julia says, loving the cooking lately. Thank you, y'all. Katie, tsundere shit, y'all. Anyway, so basic topic of today's stream is going to be the concepts of misogyny and transphobia and homophobia, basically discrimination of the gender-related type in the anti-MLM community. Now, before I get started, while I start talking about all this, I'm going to be chopping this onion. Oh, I'll put on my onion goggles. People were in the comments last time telling me that like onion goggles are an actual thing. I just use regular goggles. It's not like I'm going swimming anywhere. There we go. Got the goggles on to cut this onion. Okay. So I wanted to know if people would even, here, I'll move it down so you guys can see the onion. There we go. I wanted to know if people would even be interested in this stream, so I ran a poll on Patreon. Because, y'all, we've just been coming out of some drama in the anti-MLM world with Kimberly and all her bullshit. And, I mean, this kind of relates to her, too, but actually the shit I'm going to talk about is not even her fault. Like, none of this is her fault. But I was like, we're coming off of some drama in this community, and part of me is like, I should just not start any shit because, like, it's important that our community gets to stay unified and gets to move forward. So, but I was still not sure because I'm like, the thing that's lovely about the anti-MLM community is that we have such a variety of differences of opinions, and that because our movement is about something ethical and because our movement is about something that's important, that we are going to, that our movement will survive even if some interpersonal drama happens. It's not like something could cause, because this community is not based on internet drama. This community is not based on, I don't know, that kind of thing. This community is based on, this was a thing that's been going on since long before social media and all of that. So I think we can take it because I think we have something strong enough to withstand anything. But in any case, I didn't want people to be like, Savvy, why are you starting shit? So I ran a poll on Patreon and was like, the options were, so I was like, should I talk about this topic of misogyny, transphobia, etc. in the anti-MLM community? And the options on the poll were like, yes, this is so important, you absolutely need to talk about it, and no, this community does not need more drama, Savvy, what the fuck is wrong with you, right? Those were the options. And also there was like other, there where you could comment. So those were the options. And then I put this up on Patreon, and this was the first time in my entire life on Patreon that a Patreon poll was unanimous. 100% of people wanted me to talk about it. They were like, yes, this is important. 100% of people. So I was like, okay, it looks like this is actually, Chewy, what are you doing? Are you playing with the plastic bags? Okay, buddy. So it looks like this was a thing people actually wanted me to do. So I was like, okay, I guess I need to make this stream, especially because I've been hearing a lot of stories from people and things like that. So before I get way too into like specific situations that have happened, which I'm going to talk about a couple specific situations in addition to like what the implications of what I think this means in general and what it means for the community at large. Before I want to get into that, I want to say that along with our movement being strong enough to withstand drama, the reason that I wasn't too concerned about drama is that literally every community on the internet goes through drama. Literally all of them. So I know in the anti-MLM community, our first like big drama in YouTube, like a YouTube and Instagram and things like that, at least per social media, our first whole big drama what just happened like throughout the past couple of months. It's been fairly recent. So I think, you know, especially if you're someone who's on the internet and the anti-MLM community was your first like foray into creating internet content, it might seem like, oh, this is so dramatic. How will I handle this? But the truth is literally every internet community goes through drama. And I will say that in the anti-MLM community, we have had the least drama of any community I've ever been a part of. And I think that's because the majority of us are focused on making fact-based videos and exposing things that are like completely unethical. All right, guys, I got this onion chopped. Take off the goggles. I'm gonna put some butter in this pot, heat it up, and get the onions cooking. All right, here we go. I'm gonna take some of this knockoff butter because I forgot to buy more real butter, but I think it should be fine. Just dunk some of that in there, get the onions cooking in it. This butter is like mostly vegetable oil anyway. So I think that'll be good, and if that's not good enough, I'll add some olive oil as well. I love the smell of onions cooking in butter and stuff in olive oil. Put my glasses back on. Okay, I'll put this over here. So yes, literally every internet community goes through drama. So if you've been watching me from the beginning, like when I started this channel, I mean, I made the account a long time ago, but like when I started like consistently committing to this channel was in November 2018. So it's been a little over 2 years that I've been part of this community. And I've been having a YouTube channel and doing stuff on the internet. So if you've been following me since the beginning, you probably, like when I started this channel, the first community I joined was BookTube. Oh, my eyes are so getting watery, guys. I'm gonna rinse off my hands there. So yeah, and I still do consider myself, Julie, shut up. I still do consider myself somewhat to be part of the BookTube community, even though a lot of my videos don't just kind of follow specific BookTube trends and things like that. But that was the community where I started. And y'all, if you've ever been to BookTube, the drama there is like out the wazoo. Like you can't go 5 minutes without someone starting some shit. And it's constant. It's like you cannot avoid it. And I don't even know what it's about half the time. And this is on YouTube. It's a book. Twitter is probably the worst of all of it. And I'm not saying like people are right or wrong to have, you know, issues with these things. But my point is that like, if you want constant drama, like the anti-MLM community is not going to give you a constant drama. Even the AuthorTube community, which is the other, like, outside of anti-MLM is probably the biggest like community that I make content for. While these are cooking, by the way, I'm going to start skinning these potatoes and putting it straight into the trash can. Oof, my eyes are really watery. I thought the goggles would have saved me from that. I'm going to put a little more oil in this. So in the AuthorTube community, if you guys have been following me there, you might remember that in May 2019, which was the same time that like the beauty community went through drama. So like no one even knew the AuthorTube community was having drama because like James Charles was doing shit or whatever. Like I don't fucking know. Oh yeah, cooking these onions. I'm gonna put a little garlic powder in here too. But if you're here from AuthorTube, you're gonna remember hashtag ARCs are free. That was the one and only huge drama that AuthorTube has had, I think, ever. So you will remember hashtag ARCs are free. That was a whole mess, dude. But yeah, that was a big thing, right? It was that whole problem. I forgot to get out the broth, so I want to make sure I have that so that I don't have to use like bouillon cubes. I prefer to use liquid broth. Let me get that. We're going to use beef broth. I think beef broth's better than chicken broth. Okay. So, literally every community goes through drama. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I should just like call out the things that are problems here because we can handle it, right? Okay. So, first of all, I wanted to talk about, since this is specifically going to focus on misogyny and transphobia, and is also going to it's going to talk a little bit about like one or two specific people, not a ton of specific people, just one or two. Oh, guys, my eyes. I'm gonna let that simmer for a little bit. Let me fix my eyes before I need to go to like. Remember, like in high school chemistry when you had the eye wash station? I feel like I need to go to the eye wash station. What have I done to my eyes? Ugh. Oh, there's people from Twitch here. Hooray. Okay, wait, this is my like real life best friend. Wow, my favorite stream. Maddie, you're too nice. Okay. So, when we look at the anti-MLM community, there are a lot of men and a lot of women, but because MLM companies target men and women differently, as a result, the anti-MLM community is different in terms of men and women as well. And this is not a universal across the board thing. This is a thing that I've just seen like as a trend. So for example, you know, there are a lot of really good male anti-MLM channels. We could talk about, you know, CoffeeZilla or Mike Winnett or I think Q-Star does some. My friend, the anti-bot, her husband, genetically modified skeptic, does some anti-MLM videos, that kind of thing. So there are definitely men within this community. But I think that because MLMs target men and women in different ways, a lot of the pushback that we do to this tends to be different as well. So for example, you see the way that MLMs target men is often through like, don't you want to be the provider for your family? Don't you want to be rich? If you're a real man, you should be super rich. And things like that, like, oh, real men are rich. Real men make tons of money. Rich dad, poor dad shit, all of that, right? And as a result, a lot of men get targeted by MLMs that are more towards the straight up pyramid scheme side. Like, I think a lot of women get targeted more towards MLMs that have more of a direct sales component because it targets things like leggings or parenting stuff, which is like, that's sexist in and of itself, right? That like people are assuming that like parenting related things are going to be targeted at women while Chewy, shut up, while you know, making big bucks and being rich and supporting your family, things are going to be targeted at men. But it's basically just these companies capitalizing off of a system that was already oppressive to everyone, like creating oppressive gender roles, and then the system that exploits people capitalized off of that, which like, that shouldn't shock anyone. Oh, I dropped a potato. Yeah. And then the trash can closed on my head while I was down there. I wish you guys could have seen that. It was hilarious. Oh my God, I dropped another potato. Just put up with me, guys. So I think that that's a thing that happens. So we see a lot of straight up pyramid scheme type things where you see companies without much of a tangible product. You see companies like Legal Shield or companies like Primerica, these type of companies targeting men. And then you see a lot of like LuLaRoe, Mary Kay, the nails ones, all of those target women more. And so I think as a response, a lot of men might focus on the way that the content is portrayed differently, even though at the end of the day, it all stems from cult and scam-like behavior. I did a terrible job peeling this potato, and now I've lost like half of the potato. Oops! I'm cleaning these underwater. This potato soup's gonna take a while to make, so I hope you guys are gonna be here with me for a while. So I figured I'd talk about a quicker and easier topic on Tuesday when I was making just eggs and bacon, and now that I'm making this soup, which is a little more complex and takes a little longer, I was like, hopefully people will stay with me through this. So yeah, as a result, we have a lot of men and a lot of women in this community, and sometimes people go about their content in different ways. And normally in this community, like remember the other week when I did the stream about like Kimberly joining Monate, and I talked about how it was such a straw man that anyone was trying to claim in the first place that people were mad about people trying to change their content, because that's not what it was. But I've noticed that where the misogyny often comes in is when there will be men in this community. And I think this might be a carryover from the MLM world, because a lot of people in this community got scammed and exploited by an MLM in the first place, and that's why they found this community. So I think it might be that kind of thinking that brings men to be like, well, I got scammed this way, so this is the right way to go about stopping these companies and things like that. And so we see a lot of cases of women exposing the way that these companies exploit the sisterhood, the ways that these companies exploit female friendships or exploit stay-at-home moms and things like that. We see a lot of men wanting to focus more on like, this is an illegal pyramid scheme objectively. This is objectively an illegal pyramid scheme. And what I've said in the past is that like, some of these are illegal pyramid schemes in disguise. Some of them are not actually illegal pyramid schemes. Some of them are just exploitative and unethical companies. But here's the thing. Exploitative and unethical companies might still be legal. So that's why when I make content, and I think when a lot of particularly women in this community try to make content, our content tends to focus on, and this, there are men in this community who do this too. I'm not trying to generalize. I'm going to get to a larger point where I call out some specific examples. Well, I almost threw out the potato, but I caught it, guys. I caught it. You see a lot of women focusing on like, whether or not this company is legal, it is unethical. The recruitment element is unethical. It is not like, even if there is a product and even if you can prove that the product goes directly to customers, the tactics used are still unethical. This company can operate legally. However, like, you can do a lot of things legally. You can be a dick on the internet legally. That doesn't mean it's a nice thing to do. So that's one thing we're going to talk about, is people who think that just because you're not doing something illegal, that whatever you're doing is okay. And I think that's a big problem that we have, is that then sometimes you get men who are like, well, these women in the anti-MLM community are focusing on the wrong things, because if they want to really take down these companies, they would only focus on the legality, because that's how legislature gets passed and that's how the FTC gets involved. And it's like, yes, a lot of us do focus on those things and do talk about those things, but not every video is going to cover every single topic. So as a result, like, there are going to be some topics that focus on like emotional manipulation and things like that. I'm going to take off this sweatshirt because I'm getting really warm now in here, which is great because it's freezing out. It's been snowing for like weeks in Chicago. We've got a ton of snow outside. Oh, these onions are smelling really good. I'm going to take comments in a second before I start talking about a specific example of this, because I know a lot of this might sound really vague. So I'm going to give some specific examples to talk about what I mean. Yeah, Danielle says, you know, men go around more like, what about the law, taking action in the public sphere? And let me be clear, like, a lot of women do that too. A lot of women want to take action. And, you know, I think it was mostly women who have been in charge of, like, you know, LuLaRoe just got a massive fine. And so, like, a lot of women have led that charge and have been in charge of that. However, women tend to want to focus on, and this is not a generalization, it's like, I'm saying women because the majority of content creators in this community are women, and women are leading this fight overall. And there's a lot of times when, like, we know that men like to take credit for things. So women are kind of responsible, in my opinion, for bringing the anti-MLM movement into the mainstream discussion, into the mainstream conversation about what's illegal and unethical. And that's why sometimes when I make videos, sometimes I will call out this seems illegal. Remember when I was talking about Ray Higdon going and then the FTC shuts you down? Like, that was the funniest shit of all time. But the fact is, like, even if I don't think a company's illegal, I'm still going to call out other things, because even if the FTC doesn't shut them down, you know, people will not join or people will not buy from them. The company can go out of business on its own because people know it's a bad company. Just because you're not an illegal company doesn't mean you're a good company. So let's go into a couple. Let me see. Do I have everything here? So I've been hearing a lot of people telling me stories about how when the anti-MLM community faced its first like kind of drama that happened a little bit ago, which was like, you know, with the thing with Kimberlea leaving the community and then kind of making up the arguments. And a lot of people were saying like, well, obviously a community that's mostly women is bound to have tons of drama. There was just like this whole discourse about that. And then there's a lot of men who have been like, well, no, we're not like that. We're not dramatic. We care about the legality and the facts. And it's like, this is a whole different topic for a different video, but the concept of facts are contextual. So a lot of people say, oh, this is a fact and this is an opinion. Fact and opinion are not two clear black and white categories. Like, for example, if someone was dying on the street and I came up to them and said, 1 + 1 = 2, is what I said a fact? Yes. But why did I say that to someone who was dying? What does that mean in context? What is the implication of that? It wouldn't make sense, because even though it's a fact, it wouldn't make sense in context. And then you have other things too. If you take that to a different example and have like, you could say like, the anti-MLM community just had drama. The anti-MLM community is mostly women. Those two things are also facts. However, there was no need to juxtapose them in that way, because drawing the conclusion from a fact is not a fact, right? You can take facts, but the conclusion you draw from them is an opinion. So facts are contextual. That I might do a whole thing about that, because I think people obsess too much over the concept of facts. And I've seen a lot of people use the concept of quote unquote facts as a way to be racist, as a way to be misogynistic, as a way to be homophobic and transphobic. It's like, oh, but this thing is a fact. And it's like, I never said that thing wasn't a fact. I said the way that you're using that fact doesn't make sense and isn't productive. And that's just true. So anyway, that's kind of my framing of where I'm going with this next. Maddie's, but I see Maddie, she said, I'm buying you a vegetable peeler for Christmas. Where'd it go? Right here. I have a vegetable peeler. I just can't find it. You know I'm a mess, but if you want to buy me a vegetable peeler for Christmas, please do. Please do. I love this. I'd point out the fighting game community is full of drama and mostly men. And that's the thing too. Like let's look at the beauty community. The beauty community is mostly women, but all the drama that happens in the beauty community is between the men in the beauty community. Like, have you guys noticed that? I don't really, the only beauty YouTuber I watch is my friend Ava, who's here in the chat. But from what I've seen from my YouTube trending page and shit like that, it's always the men in the community. Let me start cutting these potatoes and then I'll continue peeling these. Cause yeah, I don't know where my vegetable peeler went. I'm making Maddie cringe in the comments because she's way better at cooking than I am. I'm gonna dice these potatoes so that they can cook nice and chunky in the oil and the broth that I'm gonna put in here. I'm glad that this meal takes a long time because now we have a long time to talk and hang out together. This is great. But I want to finish chopping these for a second so I can pull out my phone and my screenshots. And I'm not going to be pulling up screenshots on the screen because I'm trying to, like, people were like, Savvy, I'm impressed you can talk about something and cook and pull up the chat at the same time. I'm like, yeah, but I can't also pull up screenshots at the same time. At that point, it is too much for me, y'all. So we're chopping some potatoes. I love chopping potatoes. It's just so easy to slide through them. It just feels so nice. It's so easy to slide through the potatoes. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's get some of these in here. Chop some potatoes, put some in, peel some more potatoes in a minute. I want this soup to last. I want to have it for dinner tonight, and I want to have it for dinner again on Saturday. Because y'all, it's Valentine's Day this weekend. So my plan is for Friday night to get it, for Chicago people will know what I'm talking about. Friday night, I'm going to get one of those heart-shaped Lou Malnati's deep dish pizzas. I love Lou Malnati's deep dish. If Monica's in the chat, she's going to come at me with her stupid-ass Jersey pizza ideals. So she's all like, oh, your Chicago pizza's a casserole. It's a casserole. Sure, I'll let you have that it's a casserole, but it's a damn good casserole, right? Okay. So anyway, I'm going to get one of those, and then we're going to get a nice meal delivered on Sunday. But Saturday, we needed something, so I want the rest of the soup to last until then. So I'm going to try to keep peeling potatoes and keep cooking and make a lot of soup. Get these potatoes nice and soft while I get into like the meat of the drama, because I know a lot of people are like, Savvy's just vague tweeting on Maine over here. Like, where is the actual drama? You're just saying random statements, which I don't want to be like, ow! Sorry, I almost cut my finger. I don't want to be like that, guys. I'm setting nothing on fire today. That is my goal. Nothing is going to be set on fire like it was on Tuesday. Not setting anything on fire. I can do it. I can do it. Putting in the potatoes. Then I'm going to add in some broth and some heavy whipping cream, and I'm going to bring it up to a boil in a few minutes. So I'm going to get these potatoes chopped a little smoother, because I don't like putting soup in the blender. I always have a terrible time getting things in the blender. So instead, my goal is always just to get it as mushy and soupy in the pot as I possibly can. Not a blender person. Okay. So in just a minute, I am going to be talking about, we'll start with one specific person in this community. And I'm going to call this person Sean Boston. This was RK's idea for me to call this person Sean Boston. Now, this is an anti-MLMer. This is not someone else. This is an anti-MLMer. I'm going to call him Sean Boston. The reason I'm going to call him that, one, because it kind of, like, if you know who I'm talking about, it kind of actually a little bit sounds like his name. Like, not super a lot, but, like, it kind of does. Like, it kind of sounds like his name. That, and, like, right now, as you guys know, if you've been watching my Sunday streams or my Wednesday night streams, me and RK are writing a novel together called Cancel Sean Boston. We've been writing it together for, like, almost a year now. And in that, Sean Boston, right, is the fake... he's our fictional internet celebrity that gets canceled because he's an asshole. So yeah, but I'm gonna call this guy Sean Boston, and I'm not gonna use his real name because the reason being that he has admitted outright that the reason he acts like such a dick and acts so misogynistic online is to gather himself attention, is so that he'll drive more traffic to his own work. So I don't want to give him the attention because of that. However, I'm not here to like vague tweet, like I said. So if you don't know who I'm talking about and you want to DM me, that's fine. Or if you want to speculate in the chat, go ahead. But if you're like, don't throw any like people who aren't this person under the bus. But I'm going to be calling him Sean Boston. And I mean, a lot of women who make YouTube videos in this community have been getting comments from Sean Boston. I have been getting some comments from him, but here's the thing: I was surprised that this dude turned out to be so misogynistic, because my interaction with him until recently, my recent interactions have been a different story, which I'll talk about in a bit. But until recently, my interactions with him had been very positive. And that's why, so on Patreon, I had originally just vaguely been like, there is an anti-MLMer who I've done a collab with who has been misogynistic and transphobic. And people started speculating, and they like started being like, wait, is it this person? Is it this person? And it was a bunch of my friends who were like women who are wonderful people in this community. And I was like, no. Our collab was not on YouTube, and he is a man. So... let's see. I gotta catch up on the comments once I'm to that point. So this dude, when he first reached out to me, it was after me and Taylor from the Antibot. Y'all know the Antibot. She's fantastic. Apparently, according to Tiana Liss, who you should all subscribe to, she's a great anti-MLM creator. According to her, along with the Kimberlea drama, me and Taylor getting in the comment war and the online drama with Tim Sales on his channel. Apparently that was the other most iconic anti-MLM moment of the year, which I am so proud of. I am so proud of because, y'all, we went into, just some background context for those of you who don't know. Taylor and I went into Tim Sales' comment section. Ooh, that sounds good. Listen to how that sounds. Ooh, that sounds so good. So Tim Sales is an Eric Worre type of dude. He runs network marketing training companies and things like that. He provides network marketing training services. So he's the pyramid that encapsulates the pyramid. And he made this YouTube video that was like, so your MLM prospect just saw an anti-MLM video. Now what do you do? And in the thumbnail, he used my face. So I was like, if you're gonna use my face in the thumbnail, obviously I'm gonna argue with you in the comments because like, this is the internet, what are we doing? And so I started arguing with him in the comments, and then Taylor joined along and she started arguing in the comments, and we just had a great old time arguing in the comments, and we might end up getting matching tattoos based on that comment section war. We have some funny ideas for that, so stay tuned based on that. That'll be funny. But anyway, so this dude, known here as Sean Boston, woo! Ooh, that's good. I wonder if that's enough potatoes. I'm gonna see if it's enough potatoes for now. So this dude that we're gonna call Sean Boston, he, joined in the comment section, and he was like, Savvy, this was a very interesting discussion that you guys have. I agree with some things you said. I disagreed with other things. Would you like to do a podcast together and talk it out? And I was like, absolutely, dude, because I was so excited. Because a lot of times people argue with me, and oh my God, I tried to open the cream and the thing didn't pull right. Now how am I going to open this? I'm going to open it with a knife. Opening cream with a knife. Whipping cream is getting opened with a knife. Sometimes that's how you gotta do it, you guys. You gotta just like fuck around in the kitchen until you figure it out. There we go. So I was like, absolutely, because a lot of times I've gotten into arguments with people, particularly on videos about Grant Cardone or particularly about World Financial Group or certain MLMs where people get mad at me and they're like, if you would be willing to debate me, I would talk this out with you. And I was like, okay, here's my email. And then they literally never respond. Same thing with Tim Sales, actually. He was always like, if any of you would be willing to debate me. So I left him my email like twice in his comment section. He responded to all my other comments to tell me I'm wrong, but he didn't respond to me leaving his. So I think a lot of these people don't want to actually debate. So anyway, I was happy that Sean Boston had reached out to me. I'm going to start putting some cream in here. I'm just going to put the whole cream in here. What else am I going to use it for other than potato soup? You can get the cream to a boil, and then I'll add the broth once the potatoes have softened a little bit. Ooh, I like that sound. So, yeah. So I had it wasn't even that much of a debate, like, because he, for the most part, is an anti-MLMer. But he's not like he's kind of like Kimberlea in the whole, like, I'm not really anti-anything, which I don't agree with. I think that's a stupid way to go about life. However, he was making stuff for the anti-MLM community. So we talked about some stuff. We agreed. And this is what I like about our communities. When we don't have, anyone who tries to accuse anti-MLM as a cult, like, the fact that we're willing to debate these different ideas and entertain them and consider them, I think is all the proof you need that that's what's the opposite, So I discussed things with him. We had a really nice discussion, actually, because he was talking about how, like, he thinks that talking about income disclosure statements is a waste of time. And I actually said, like, oh, I disagree. And we talked about why, and we discussed things. And, like, he was talking about how he doesn't believe that market saturation is a real threat and how I do think it is. And then we realized that we had some common ground because, like, we both had different views on what market saturation meant, and it turns out if we define them differently, like, and here's the whole thing. It was like, guys, this was so nice. I cannot even emphasize how nice it was that he and I had all of this common ground. Even so, you can imagine my disappointment, guys. We were having such a good time. And then I was considering having him on my channel to talk about some of his MLM experiences. Now, there were some things that were in our discussion that I just kind of wrote off, that now looking back, I'm like, oh, that might have not been the best thing, because there were some times when he would be kind of like, Savvy, I'm glad that you get it. Sometimes I think a lot of anti-MLMers focus on the wrong thing, but you get the right thing. I felt very like, Savvy, you're not like other girls. Like, that's kind of how I felt. I can't read his mind, so if he says that's not what he meant, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, all that. All right, got the beef stock in there too. Now everything is boiling in this pot. Add the bacon in a little bit. Yeah, this is going to need some flour to thicken it up, but I also need the potatoes to soften much, much more. Ooh. Oh, but it smells so good, guys. This potato soup smells so good. So good. Okay. So then I got a message from another anti-MLM creator that was like, hey, Savvy, I heard you did a collab with this person. And I was like, yeah, we had a good discussion. And she was like, he is really misogynistic. And I was like, really? Like, I didn't know that. And so, guys, again, it was a good experience for me. I would talk to him again. Like, I would go back on a show and debate and discuss again, because I think what makes the anti-MLM community great is that we're willing to engage with things that we disagree with. We're willing to engage with, like, I'm even willing to debate Tim Sales, guys. So yeah. So anyway, I'm going to read some things that happened. So another creator reached out to me, was like, this dude is actually really misogynistic. And I was like, he is? Like, what did he do? So I'm just going to read, like, I have a few screenshots. These things have now all been deleted from Twitter. So basically the premise of what happened here, which this happened like 2 years ago. So first of all, this happened 2 years ago, and you guys know that I am a huge believer. I don't believe in cancel culture. That's why I'm writing a book that parodies it. I don't believe in the idea that if someone does something bad, they can never change. I think it's great that, like, if someone who starts off as a misogynistic person learns the error of their ways and respects women more in the future, I will welcome that. I've talked about that so much. So this was 2 years ago. So I still gave him the benefit of the doubt. And then I'm going to read something that happened like a week ago. Anyway, so I give him the benefit of the doubt when this happened. But basically what happened was one or two female anti-MLM creators were talking about how they wanted to start a podcast. So this was 2 years ago. This was in 2019. Talking about how they wanted to start a podcast. In how they wanted to have, like, the first anti-MLM podcast. And then he brought up that he already has an anti-MLM podcast. But for some reason, like, you'd think that could be just like a very simple argument, but here's where it went. He tweeted at this female creator and said, I'm too busy laughing at you and the rest of your junior high school mean girls clique. So first of all, that's some Tim Sales type of speak right there. Remember, that's one thing Antibot and I talked about a lot, is how Tim Sales, his misogyny often comes through in the fact that he's trying to infantilize and belittle women in this movement that he disagrees with by saying, you anti-MLM girls remind me of the mean girls in my high school who were so rude to me. It's like, that's an ad hominem attack. Like, if you think I'm mean, which I don't think I'm mean, I think I'm very nice, but, like, if you think I'm mean, that's fine. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. Like, you can be mean and still be right. Right? It's just like how you can do something that's mean but isn't illegal. Like, you can't just equate all these things. So I think that's like a way to try to discredit what we're doing by saying, like, oh, you guys are just mean girls. And it's like, it feeds into this idea that women always have to be nice and always have to be amicable at all times if they want their message to be heard. And honestly, I think I'm pretty nice. Like, I'm very open to hearing literally everyone, even people I completely disagree with. So, like, I think I'm pretty nice. But, like, it just feeds into this idea that, like, women cannot be mean or anything like that. So he says that. And then the female creator just tweeted, like, a eye-rolling gif back at him. And then he replied with, shut up, you stupid bitch. And then they did a podcast trying to work this out. I'm glad that I will give this guy credit in that he listens to people who disagree with him, but I don't always think he listens in good faith. Sometimes I think he listens to try to still promote his own agenda. However, when I disagreed with him, he did listen in what I felt was good faith. So it's kind of a mixed bag, y'all. It's kind of a mixed bag. Again, that's something. I don't think any people are fully good or fully evil. I think we're all complex human beings, and that's one reason that I've told you guys I don't believe in cancel culture, and I believe in like giving second, third, fourth chances. It doesn't mean I'm not going to be mad at people, though, right? Right? We can all talk about this. We're all public figures on the internet at this point. It's fair to talk about all of that. So he's like, "Shut up, you stupid bitch." And then when they try to talk about this on the podcast, he kept claiming that he didn't call her a bitch because he censored the I in bitch with an exclamation point. No, that's still calling her a bitch. And then I don't have screenshots of this, but he has called multiple women the C word. And those tweets have gotten deleted, like they've been removed by Twitter. So I can't screenshot them. I'm not even showing screenshots anyway. So if you don't believe me or you want to say I'm lying, that's fine. But multiple women have come to me and told me that he has called them the C word. I'm not going to say the C word on this stream. But guys, this might be a controversial thing to say, but I'm one of those people that doesn't think men should be saying the C word. Now, I'm specifically talking here about in American English. I know men who are Australian and say the C word, it has a different connotation there. It's like how I know people who are British and say the F word, it has a different connotation there, right? But if you are a man in America and you're saying the C word, I don't take kindly to that. I just don't. And that's not to say that if you ever say it, I will think you are a bad person or I will think you are sexist for the rest of your life. But that is a word that has, at least for the past century or so, actually a YouTuber I love, Rachel Oates, she did a video about the history of it recently. I should link that because it talks about how the C word wasn't always a slur, but it is now. It is treated that way. And I'm not a fan of men using the C word at all. Like, I just don't think it's cool. It's like you as a man do not have the right to reclaim that. It's like how, other slurs, if you're not, like, it's like how nowadays, like, people in the LGBT community will refer to themselves as queer. But people who are, cisgender and heterosexual don't have the ability to reclaim that because there are a lot of people in the LGBT community who still consider queer to be a slur. But there are a lot of people who have also reclaimed it and had it be like something to celebrate, right? But it's up to the people who have been negatively affected by that language in the past to decide when they are capable of when it can be reclaimed. And so, like, a lot of women still aren't comfortable with men using the C word. I don't even really use it myself because I don't like it. I've only ever said it, I think, when I've been reading something out loud or directly quoting. But no, I'm not comfortable saying it. I'm not comfortable with men saying it in any context, and I am especially not okay with men saying it as a way to insult or discredit a woman. And the way he has used it in all of the instances that people have shown me have been because a woman just disagreed with him. And I hate this because it's like what I love about our community and what I had originally loved about speaking with this guy and collaborating with this guy is that it's like this community is the complete opposite of the cult world, where we have open discussions about everything. We can be skeptical about things. We can question anything. We can openly disagree and have a discussion in good faith with people we disagree with, and it's beautiful. But resorting to a gender slur insult, and this was like, he was doing anti-MLM stuff. Like, this guy's trying to take down Amway and shit. So it's like, that's great. But then when a woman just says something that you disagree with or just wants to go about this movement in a different way than you and you don't think it's productive, have a discussion about that, sit down and talk it out. Don't use a gender slur. Like, what the fuck? Where does that even come in? So anyway, where I'm getting to next. This all happened 2 years ago. And like I've said, people change a lot in 2 years. I'm sure I did stupid shit 2 years ago that I would regret now. So I'm like, you know what? If this dude has seen the error of his ways, and I thought maybe the past 2 years he's changed because, again, like a month ago when he and I had a discussion, it was great. So I'm like, he didn't seem misogynistic to me very much. So then what happens, y'all? Then what happens? Let me pull up my screenshots here because this is where he and I actually got into an argument. So you guys may remember after Kimberlea joined Monate. I still don't know how to say it. I'm assuming it's Monate because it's modern nature. So after she joined the Monate shitty shampoo MLM, a lot of people in our community were understandably disappointed. And so this guy named Nick, I don't really know who he is, and I'm not gonna like put him on blast because he's actually a pretty small creator. I think he's a pro MLMer, but I'm not positive. But he's a smaller creator, and I don't know that much about him, and he's under 1,000 subscribers, so I'm not gonna put him on blast. But some dude named Nick, I don't remember his last name, and he made this video defending Kimberlea and saying that what she did was fine. Now, in the comment section of that video, guys, content warning for some transphobia here. Content warning for some transphobia. So in the comment section of that video, you know, various people were talking about, and actually what I liked about what this Nick dude did was that he engaged with every comment, like even though he was on the opposite side of what the anti-MLM community was doing, when anyone within the anti-MLM community posted a comment disagreeing with him, and it was always very politely, he would always reply to that comment and be like, oh, I appreciate you sharing this. And I like that. Like, even if you are pro MLM, if you are willing to hear other people out and willing to engage in good faith, I'm still going to say I appreciate you. And I like that you do that because that is the way that we spread more knowledge. So I appreciate his approach to comments. I disagree with his video. That's where I'm going to go with that. But this is not about Nick. So in the comments, this dude, Sean Boston, fake name, the antagonist of me and RK's novel. By the way, Cancel Sean Boston's coming out in August. Sean Boston in that is like a young 25-year-old internet music celebrity. So anyway, so this guy, Sean Boston, makes a comment, again, transphobia coming, makes a comment where he compares Kimberlea's decision to leave the anti-MLM movement to a trans person regretting having bottom surgery. And he says it in the most disgusting way. So this is what he says. And then he claims it's not transphobic. So just, okay. So he says, the good news is, as far as we know, she didn't chop anything off. And then puts a link, and the link goes to a trans YouTuber blog. And I'm like, I saw that comment and I was like, this was before I knew like all the shit that he'd done. I was like, dude, we had such a nice conversation. Like, I'm very vocally like part of the LGBT community and I'm very vocally feminist. And like the fact, like, what? Like I thought you and I were friends and now you're going to say this kind of shit. First of all, like, I'll tell you guys what I replied. So Nick, the guy who did the video, he was like, did you mean to post this here? And then Sean Boston replies, do you mean making a 180 change in a sex change story on a 180 change? And so he's trying to compare it and being like, so I replied and was like, what is this? Are you making fun of trans people? And then I added, Kimberlea is not trans regardless. Like, it wouldn't matter if she was or not, but she's not. It's like, she's not trans. She's openly talked about giving birth to a child. Like, she's a cisgender woman. And I was like, but either way, why are you making fun of trans people at all? And I thought we might have a good conversation because, again, all my interactions with this guy had been pleasant in the past. I thought maybe being called out by someone you supposedly have a good relationship with and respect might be like, oh, well, maybe I'll change. No, but it wasn't like that. Instead, he was like, okay, this comment, I can't tell if it's transphobic or not. There are two different ways to interpret this because it's written very ambiguously. But it says, Sean Boston replies to me and says, I didn't make the video, he/she did. I'm assuming, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that he/she refers to Nick and Kimberlea in the video because you have a man and a woman in that video, he and she. I'm assuming he's not still trying to use that to imply Kimberlea is trans. I don't know though. Let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. So then he asks me, why did you ask the question and then answer it as well? I don't really know what that means. So I tried to clarify by saying, Chewy, shut up, my dude. I tried to say, yeah, Chewy doesn't said trans rights, y'all. Chewy is barking because he does not support misogyny or transphobia or any discrimination. Chewy's a good boy. So I said, no, what I'm asking is, why are you making fun of trans people? And he replied by saying, Savvy, by the way, I think there are a lot of other well-known YouTube anti-MLM creators reading the story who are not making comments, so kudos to you, except you chose to respond to this comment and not my main comment made over a day ago. It's called smoking people out. First of all, I think that was, so I am assuming, again, I can't really interpret what this means, but I'm assuming he's trying to say, like, Savvy, you intentionally are not engaging with me in the right way because you responded to because apparently he made multiple comments on this post or on this video. How would I know that? Like, I didn't spend my time reading it. I just saw a transphobic comment and was like, whoa, and replied and then moved on. So I didn't even read his other comment. So if he's thinking that I intentionally responded to this one instead, like, whatever. And so I said, I'm not talking about the video. I'm talking about the comment you left about, quote, chopping things off and then leaving a detransitioner vlog. And he replied, are you asking me or telling me because you've already done both? I don't know what that means. And then he said, do you prefer to use the more politically correct term, reduction surgery, or some other politically correct term? Which, first of all, is called bottom surgery. It's not called reduction surgery. I've never heard someone say that. Or you could even say gender confirmation surgery, which refers to any of the surgeries, whether that's top surgery, facial reconstructive surgery, bottom surgery. They're all under the gender confirmation surgery's umbrella. Like, that would be the most politically correct term, I would assume, but no one says reduction surgery. So I said, I am asking you why you chose to make that comment. I can't tell you why you did something. I can't read your mind. Yeah, Chewy's mad. Chewy's like, this transphobia's gotta stop. Get it out of here. Get the transphobia out of here. So I was like, my question is why you posted that comment and what you think it adds to the conversation. Because there was no even discussion about trans rights or trans people or anything. This was so unrelated to the discussion we were having. So I said, and also I have a second question now. Do you support trans people? And then he replied by saying, why do you think I'm making fun of trans people? Which, okay. So I replied by saying, reduction surgery is not usually used for transitioning. For example, I'm pursuing breast reduction surgery. In the trans world, the surgeries are often called gender confirmation surgery. Regardless, the terms aren't relevant. I'm asking you why you posted that here at all. And he said, and then he went on this rant that I don't really understand, but he said, I posted because the story showed up in the right-hand column, probably because it was related to somebody else who also changed their mind and YouTube promoted it to me. If I had seen a story about Tom Brady changing his mind about playing for the New England Patriots and deciding to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I would have picked that one. Of course I support trans people because as a former naval officer, I swore an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, which is one reason why I am anti-MLM scam, because I consider MLM scam artists to be domestic enemies, and I am very knowledgeable about these type of massive scams from personal experience and extensive research efforts, and have no plans to resign my commission, even though I am no longer active duty military. The Constitution guarantees freedom for people essentially to do whatever they want as long as they aren't intruding on other people's rights. An example is playing very loud music. Go ahead and blow your eardrums out, but don't disturb the peace of your neighbors. And I'm like, what? What? So again, y'all, I try to do as much in good faith as I can. So I am going to assume that what he's saying here is that when I ask, do you support trans people? He would be like, well, obviously I support all people, because in the military, we are told we have to support everyone. Has some all lives matter energy to it, in my opinion. But regardless, it's like, what did any of this have to do with any of this? So this guy, he has been trying to kind of, there's been times he's been trying to gatekeep this community and be like, all of you junior high school mean girls in the anti-MLM community who spend time talking about these emotional topics instead of talking about the specific legality and illegality of things. He just left a comment on Monica's video recently where Monica was talking about something and he was like, okay, but why aren't you focusing on the legality of this company? And she was like, I did that in a previous video, here it is. And he was like, but why aren't you focusing on the legality? And it's like the idea that there's only one way to do this. This is, again, guys, I don't want to be sexist, but this is exclusively a male thing I've seen. I have not seen any women doing this other than maybe Kimberlea. who, again, I know a lot of people wanted me to talk about her misogyny, which was her basically being like, I like to hang out with smart men. I like to do things to make myself attractive to men. I like to spend my time with men who focus on facts. And it's like I said, facts are contextual. What does any of this mean? So what was I going to say here? Okay. So what I've noticed is the anti-MLM community, like I've said, has both men and women in it. I have not actually seen a lot of trans people in the anti-MLM community. And I was talking with some friends about this the other day, that I feel like the anti-MLM community doesn't have a ton of LGBT representation. I feel like it's like majority straight people. I could be wrong on that. I know a couple LGBT anti-MLM creators. I mean, there's me, obviously. The only other one I know who's publicly out about it is Emma Thorne, and that's because she did a coming out video, which is awesome. You guys should check out her channel. Apparently, like, this is funny, when she made a video about Kimberlea and someone posted it in Monica's Facebook group, people thought, like, because she apparently looks like, she has, my hair's not blonde now, it's like purple and blue and shit, but like it was blonde before, and so like she also has short blonde hair and glasses, so people thought she and I were the same person. They're like, oh, I clicked on this thing, you're Savvy. And that's hilarious. But anyway, she's really cool. She's really nice. But regardless, I feel like there's not a whole lot of LGBT representation in this community. And that's not to say that, like, I think it's because, you know, we have this whole idea of like a lot of MLMs tend to target people in the Mormon community. They tend to target a lot of stay-at-home moms. They tend to target people who have a more heteronormative lifestyle, right? Because they use the concept of gender roles, whether that's being a man and needing to be rich or being a woman and needing to spend time with your kids or whatever, they use those ingrained gender roles as a way to manipulate people into paying them. So I think that's probably why. But in any case, that's just the thing I've noticed. Hold on, I need to take off this sweatshirt. I'm getting so warm in here. Been making soup for so long. So I'm going to take a look at the comments, because I have been cooking soup for so long and just talking and cooking soup that I have ignored the chat, and I feel bad about that, y'all. And then I'm gonna get some flour put in the soup. Oh, I gotta chop up the bacon and put the bacon in the soup. How could I forget the bacon, the lovely oven bacon? Whoop, there's all the bacon. Okay, before I get to the bacon, put this on simmer and check out the comments. What's up, y'all? I've missed a lot of comments, haven't I? Our cases, do you support human rights? Look, clearly there are aliens out there, and some probably want to harm us, but the Earth's water is what makes this planet inhabitable. Yeah, not the men care about facts. This is all Ben Shapiro shit. Facts and logic. Guys, facts and logic are just as relative as opinions and conclusions are. You need a bit of both. If you're going to make an argument, it's going to require both facts and opinions based on your own conclusions, because an argument cannot have solely facts, otherwise it's not an argument, right? So this whole like only facts thing, it's not feasible, it's not possible. Maybe that's a philosophical thing, but that's how I feel. Let me see where we are here. Wow, okay. Someone here being like, I'm a trans person in the anti-MLM community, not a creator though. Well, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Oh, some love for Emma Thorne. Yeah, I love that her channel's been getting some attention recently. But yeah, so I love this. One hot goth mama. This is brilliant. I love this. Facts are ingredients. Opinions are the resulting dish. Exactly. So it's like a fact is like, I don't know, a raw plantain. You're not going to get anything out of that. You need to cook it with stuff. Oh, yes. Okay. Jude says I'm non-binary and anti-MLM. Okay, guys. I'm glad people are open about this. You guys are great. Bobby says, I'd argue emotional arguments are important in the court of public opinion, which is a big thing we need on our side to make a difference. Right. And that's a big thing that I've been talking about with this, is that, you know, whether, like I said earlier, like this dude, quote, Sean Boston, has been being a dick on the internet. Being a dick on the internet is not illegal, but it's still like something that other people don't like. It still makes people feel bad. It's still, makes people upset. So like if an MLM company, even if one is operating totally legally, then it's like it still could be exploiting people, right? A lot of things that are legal are exploitative. In fact, like I could go on about this forever. A lot of the things that are built into the systems that we use are exploitative already. So like people speaking, like it doesn't have to be illegal to be bad. Let's see. Hamable of Carthage says, I hang out in more left-wing spaces on Twitch a lot. I might start doing that now that I'm new to Twitch. Oh, thank you, Courtney, for telling people to smash the like button. Anne says, I've been sort of targeted because someone thought I might like to be more feminine. She sold Mary Kay, and I'm very much queer. Yeah, I find that interesting because I don't really consider myself to be a super feminine presenting person. And I've also never been in an MLM company. The only one that I had a bad experience with that I've told you guys about is a Smart Circle scam. And those are the ones that they don't care about gender. They're targeting everyone, especially if you're a recent college grad who uses Career Builder, right? That's who they target the most. College grads are on Career Builder. So that's the only bad experience with an MLM I've had. I've never been in a company. But I care about this movement as a small business owner and things like that. But I think that, yeah, I'm surprised I haven't been targeted yet, like Savvy. I do get called ugly on YouTube a lot, generally by anti-feminists and things like that. But yeah, I think that there is a thing with that where it's like they try to prey on people's desire to conform. And again, that's how cults operate, right? They prey on a desire to conform. And then MLMs prey on people wanting to be able to conform to gender roles and to please the other people in their life and to fulfill the roles that they think they're expected. And even in a lot of cases, like I know a lot of women who are stay-at-home moms and it's like their choice and they like, that's great. I respect that 1,000,000%. I actually need to do a reaction to a Classically Abby video where she talks about how feminists don't support stay-at-home moms, which is false. I love stay-at-home moms and stay-at-home dads. And I love working moms and working dads. I think everyone needs to do what's right for them and their family. I've always said that, and so has every feminist I know, but regardless. Yeah, I think so. In a lot of cases, though, you get a society that tells women you're supposed to stay at home with your kids, and then also sets up an economic system where it's not feasible to live life on one income. So that's where MLMs come in to prey on people and to take advantage and to profit off of other people's misery. Cutting some bacon a second here. Let me get back to the comment section. Yep, feminists love stay-at-home parents and working parents and everyone. That's the thing. Being feminist is about wanting people to have free choice for the way they live their life. And I guess the reason, like if someone said, are you an egalitarian? I would say, yeah. But the reason I choose to say I'm a feminist also is that historically women have been disadvantaged both by the law and by discrimination. And still women are disadvantaged in a lot of ways that, and I'm going to get this whole stream off track if I talk about that. But the reason is that, and I think feminism is a thing that helps men too. Gender expectations that you are required to adhere to hurts everybody. Free choice helps everybody. So I feel like that's the thing. I feel like that at least is common ground because like, how can everybody not agree with that? Like, I guess some people say like, oh, nature makes you a certain way. But again, those are generally the facts and logic bros that don't actually use facts or logic. Yes, it's about giving people choices. Well, I'm trying to read your name. Sina. I'm not sure how I say it. I'm sorry. But she says, as a stay-at-home mom, you can struggle to keep your identity, and MLMs also use that to their advantage as well. That is absolutely true. MLMs love to use the idea that, like, there's this weird mom guilt, right? This was the one thing I created with Girl Stop Apologizing about was the whole mom guilt element that, like, women are kind of treated as they can't make a choice that everyone is going to agree with. people will be like, well, why don't you want to make money for your family? Well, why don't you want to be with your kids all the time? Well, all of that, right? And so, yeah, so in a lot of cases then, women who do give up careers to be with their kids, which is, you know, raising your kids, that's a no. If that's what fulfills you in life, like, do it, you know? I'm in favor of everyone do what they want, but I have heard from a lot of stay-at-home parents that, like, you can feel like you're starting to lose your identity since your main career is in service of someone else, which again, you could also make an anti-capitalist argument about that, right? Like, there's a lot of things that this can expand to. The anti-MLM movement is important for a lot of reasons, Jude say, I feel as though LGBT people don't fit into the ideal MLM image. I think that too sometimes, because I think, like, when you look at a company like Pure Romance, for example, from everything I've heard about it, they are so, like, heterosexually focused. It's like, these parties are for women, no men allowed, only women at the Pure Romance parties. These are women-exclusive sex toys. And specifically, they are cis women-exclusive sex toys because they are for the vagina. And they are meant for you to use with a man who has a dick. Like, right? Like, I think a lot of these cases, it's very, like, that's the assumption. And when you, like, are the majority of people in the world straight and cisgender? Yeah, the majority of people in the world are. But that doesn't mean that people who are outside of that wouldn't feel alienated, which I guess, I mean, if I'm going to be alienated from something, a scammy company is probably the best thing to be alienated from, right? All right, getting some flour in here to thicken this up. And then, oh my God, these are Tyler's pajama pants and I just got flour on them. Oops. That's okay, I'm going to put them in the washing machine. Gonna cut some green onions, y'all. Gonna add some green onions to this soup. I'm gonna put a lot of green onions in it. And then I'm going to add the bacon in, and we're going to cook with bacon and green onions. And then what I'm going to do at the end is to take this cheddar cheese and broil it on top. Let me wash the green onions first, and then I'll get back to the chat. Let me get back to the chat. Yeah, so someone was asking me what I was making. Oh, 10 feral rats in a coat. I love your names on YouTube saying, I'm making creamy potato soup. Argyle Dinosaur says, I went to my sister's Pure Romance party when I was like 18 in a shitty relationship and I was so uncomfortable. I always think it's so weird how people in Pure Romance are trying to get their relatives to come to their sex toy party. I'm like, who wants to buy a sex toy from like their mom or their grandma? Like, isn't that weird? Like, that's weird. And I don't think a lot of things are weird. I have a pretty limitless comfort zone, but that is weird, guys. That's weird. Anyway, so I guess kind of back to the misogyny and homophobia and transphobia and the, I don't know, what would you say, patriarchal heteronormativity? That sounds like something you'd say in a gender studies class, but I think that that's probably the most concise way to explain what I'm talking about here. I think there's been a lot of discourse then, even with women in the anti-MLM movement, talking about like, oh, why is our community so much drama? I stick to the facts and I hang out with smart men. I'm not like other girls. That's really just Kimberly. But like, I've been hearing a lot of things like that, and a lot of women being like, oh, I don't want to identify with any community. I want to just, because other women are too dramatic. And I hate that shit, guys. I hate that shit. And, you know, honestly, since this big thing has gone down with Kimberly, I've seen this a lot less. So I think that she may have been the one kind of spearheading that. However, what was I going to say? I love pretty much every creator in this community. Not really loving Sean Boston lately because I don't support men who use slurs against women and start being transphobic out of nowhere for no reason. Doesn't make sense. But I feel like there's a lot of I'm not like other girls energy. And I don't like it because, guys, so when I was an edgy teenager, as an edgy teenager who read a Ben Shapiro book, reading a Ben Shapiro book has nothing to do with this, but I did do that as an edgy teenager once. As an edgy teenager, I was very much like, oh, I'm not like other girls, right? And I think this is a thing that a lot of women go through and then realize is because you're gay. So let's talk about that real quick. So I was very much kind of like that. Oh, hey, Chewy's back. Hey, Chewy. I'm putting some green onions in the soup. Green onions and bacon go into the soup. I also got to check the comments in the section. Hello, Chewy. Did I drop something on the floor and you're trying to get the flavors from it? Is that what you're doing, buddy? Is that what you're doing, buddy? Let me get your leash off, bud. Let me get Chewy's leash off. Come here, buddy. Let's not spill your water bowl. I'm not going to spill the water. Was it cold out in the snow? Did you have a nice snowy walk? Yeah? I bet you had a great time, didn't you? Were you a good boy?
Mostly.
Mostly?
You pooped twice.
You pooped twice? Wow! Wow! Okay, sorry guys. I'm going to come back to the comments now. I had to greet my sweet puppy. I love what Drew's saying here. It doesn't seem like there's that much drama. There isn't, right? There isn't. All right, this community, and that's why I think that it was very much the quote, like I was saying, I'm not like other girls, quote, I'm not like other girls. I think it was very much the quote, I'm not like other girls crowd that was trying to act as if there was so much drama in this community. And that was both, I saw both from men and women. I've seen that, like a lot of people trying to act like that. And I'm like I said at the very beginning of the stream, y'all, I came here from BookTube. Anyone who's been on BookTube, you move to anti-MLM and you're like, what drama? BookTube had someone getting canceled every 10 seconds and it was a cancellation you'll never come back from, right? Like, what are people talking about? So when everybody, that's why at first I didn't, people would talk to me, be like, are you gonna report on the drama? Are you still part of this community? Like, yes, I'm still part of this community for my entire life because this is important to me as a small business owner. Like, this matters. I'm not just doing this for the sake of it. Like, I'm doing it because I care, you know? But yeah, a lot of people have been like, oh my God, that's so much drama. There is not that much drama in this community. Put a little more flour in, thickening this up a little bit more. I want this soup to be really, really good. And I think the soup is going to be really, really good. Now I got flour in my hand. I will return to the chat in just a moment after I have stirred the flour into the soup thoroughly so that I'm not getting big floury puff balls. You guys ever done that where you thicken up soup with flour and then a clump of flour you don't realize, but it all cooks together and then you get like a little bread puff in your soup, but it's like I bet someone knows what I mean. It's always kind of funny. It's always kind of funny when that happens. Oh, this soup. Oh, that smells really good. This soup smells really good. So the soup is getting close to being done. I'm gonna put it on simmer. I want to make sure that I address everything people want me to address. And also, let me know in the comments if you want me to do a whole video on this, because this is a very casual cooking stream, right? I'm just cooking and talking to y'all about stuff. But if you guys want a whole video where I'm like providing quote receipts and researching, let me know that as well, because a few people have asked me to make like a video about LGBT discrimination in the not the anti-MLM world, in the MLM world, which I can do. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on that ladle. Let's take a look at the comments before we. Let's see. What? Spence, what? Well, I've been doing it for years, but Spence is way better at cooking than I am, so I'm gonna trust her. Let's see. Fighting Blind says, I had no idea I could be a gender other than male or female until almost 20 years old. I didn't know that until I was maybe like 22 or so. Yeah, I got behind on these comments again. I'm sorry. Leftist Twitter is all, yeah. Yeah. Yes, the not like other girls phenomenon is definitely stems from a misogynistic place, because it's the reason that I think a lot of, it's that we're told the fact that like men are more powerful or superior or something. And that's why if women want to be powerful, we're supposed to feel like we're different from other women or something. I don't like it at all. There were a few comments I missed that I wanted to get to here. Antibot's here. Hey, Taylor. She says, I just got here. Taylor, I was telling everyone about how we're going to get a matching tattoo to commemorate Tim Sales. As soon as you come to Chicago, once we're all COVID vaccinated. She says, just got here, but yeah, agreed. There really isn't that much drama. The drama only revolves around one person. Well, Kimberly and Sean Boston. I hope that that's good. Guys, cancel Sean Boston. The novel's coming out in August. I'll let you know when there's a pre-order. Aurora's telling you, I still don't know what the group chat was. Like, I can't talk about that because I still don't believe it existed. Or like maybe it did, but I didn't know about it, and no creators that I work with on anything knew about it. So like I don't know what's going on. Antibot says, that's why I had a problem with that one article, because it seemed to imply that the anti-MLM community has so much drama, which isn't true. Yeah, we really don't. We really don't. Oh, here's another point I wanted to make. Oh, I was supposed to use gay flower. That was the problem all along. Yes, okay, so Antibot and I are considering, before I go into my last point, Antibot and I are considering getting tattoos together. We're going to get the Wizard of Oz Scarecrow, because he's a literal straw man. We're going to get him saying, we're not in debate class. Because Tim Sales doesn't believe that using logical fallacies is a problem unless you are explicitly in debate class. So what I was going to say was that when it comes to whether there is, quote, drama in a community, it's always easy to figure out who started the drama. Here's how you figure it out. And I can't say that this will be true 100% of the time, but based on what I've seen in the booktube community, a million times over, the authortube community, now the anti-MLM community, what I've seen in literally every single internet community I've ever been a part of, the person who starts the drama is always the person who claims that they hate the drama, right? So for example, I'm not going to claim I hate drama. I don't. It's good for clicks. It's good for views, right? I don't like seeing people hurt. I don't like when it affects people negatively. But the concept of something dramatic going on the internet, we all like that. It happens, and it's normal, and it's human. There are a lot of people who will say, oh my God, I hate how there's so much high school drama going on in this community. We're all acting like we're high school mean girls. Why is there so much drama? Whenever someone says that, the second the person says that, you know 100% they started it. Because if they didn't start it, they would probably just be going about their business. People who talk about how much they hate the drama are always the person who started it, every time. And if you guys come up with an example where that's not true, I'll be open to hearing about it. But so far, without fail, like I was able to predict this was Kimberly pretty fast. The second she was like, you know, guys, I just really hate the drama. Why do we have to act like high school mean girl? I'm like, oh, so you started it then? And literally every time, that is a without fail way to predict who started it. They're always the person pretending that they didn't start it. Oh, guys, this soup is so... Oh, wait, I have to preheat the broiler real quick because I'm going to broil some cheddar cheese on top, and it's going to be delicious. I love broiling cheese on top of soup because then you can, like, rest your fork on top of the hardened cheese and then poke your way through the cheese mass. You guys know what I'm talking about. All right, one bowl of soup here. I'm going to show you guys what the soup looks like. Look at that soup, guys. Look at that soup. That's what the soup looks like. I'm very proud of this soup. Christine says high school kids are fine. The drama's minimal. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people agree that the person, with bigger YouTubers, you see this especially. They're always like, I'm done. I just hate the drama. It's like, yeah, but you started it. Like, it's gonna come out that you started it every time. The not like other girls things fucks us trans guys up as well, because we're here trying to explain, hey, I really don't think I'm a girl, and everyone is like, every girl thinks that, and we're like, oh, is that the end of the comment? Either way, yeah, I know what you're saying. A lot of gender generalizations in general, they're harmful to not just that, they're harmful to not just that gender, but every other gender, and also to trans people especially. Like, that's the problem we have here. So that's why when we're seeing this, and that's why, like, when I called out, quote, Sean Boston today, and he's being misogynistic in this community, but it's like he's not even a pro-MLMer doing it. He's a fellow anti-MLMer, and he was being misogynistic and transphobic at the same time, and then claiming, like, I don't understand the point of claiming, like, obviously I can't be transphobic because I took an oath to protect everyone in our country. Like, what? That doesn't mean you can't be transphobic. Like, I could be like, I'm not X because I've never killed anyone. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You can be nice to people in everyday life and still be hateful to them on the internet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. That doesn't make any sense to me. But maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I just need to give him a okay boomer next time. I don't even know how old he is. Let's get a layer of cheese up on top of the soup. Oh, guys, this soup is going to be so good. And I'm going to get, guys, you know what I'm going to get to store this soup in, right? To store the leftovers. What are we storing the leftovers in? Plastic storage containers. If you said Tupperware, you are incorrect. Tupperware is an MLM. Get that all the time. People, let's get the Tupperware. Nope. No Tupperware. I'm not going to your Tupperware party. I'm going to use this Rubbermaid brand container. I don't know if I do even have any Tupperware brand containers. I'm not sure. Chewy, I'm going to need you to get out of the way because I'm about to open the oven. Hey, baby, can you please leave? Can you please leave? Good boy, we're going to leave. We're going to leave. Chewy loves to be right under where your feet are when you're cooking. He's like, oh, but what if I stood right here? What about right here, human? All right. Have one fewer pot holder today because I set one on fire on Tuesday. If you're on Tuesday stream, you saw me set a pot holder on fire, then you know I am cooking. I'm getting things out of the oven with one fewer pot holder today. I still have 2, I think. We had 3, so it should be good to get this out of the oven the way it is. I'll put this in the storage container to save for dinner this weekend. Oh, I'm going to try it off of the ladle and see if it's tasty. Oh, that's good soup, guys! That's good soup! That soup is delicious, guys. That soup is so good. I mean, 10 feral rats in a coat says misogynists are married to women just because they're nicer can get a lot. Exactly. Exactly. You see men all the time who are like very misogynistic, and the misogynistic men are almost always attracted to women. So that just because you're married to a woman doesn't mean you're not discriminating against them. Exactly. We see, I filled this not Tupperware all the way up. Look, it's all the way to the top. Let's hope I can get the lid on without making a splatter. Yes, this is going in the fridge. Be right back, y'all. Oh, this soup is good. Now, while this is broiling, oh, the broil's almost done. I got shit all over everywhere. I gotta clean off the stove because I made a mess as usual. But I didn't set anything on fire this time. Oh, I might be speaking too soon. The soup is not all the way done yet. Last time I set the thing on fire at the very end. The very end. Hot soup, y'all. Okay, so I think that's about everything I wanted to cover on today's stream. I'm gonna start putting the ingredients away. Pretty sure the sour cream isn't good anymore. How do you know if sour cream isn't good anymore? Because it says that it expires this Monday, but it's kind of orange inside. I don't think it's good anymore. I think I opened this like a year ago. I'm gonna throw it. Get new sour cream. I'm gonna put the cheese away. I'm gonna put the butter away. All that. Chewy, I don't want you right by the very hot oven. You are a cutie, though. All right, let's let that. I like to get the cheese a little crispy, you know? Let's get these knives rinsed off. Guys, I end up cooking things and keeping things clean so much better when I do a stream for it. I think this is just the extrovert thing. Like when I'm talking to a bunch of people, I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. Like if I'm by myself, I'm like, what is this world? I just want to fade into nothing. You know, that's relatable, right? Yeah, what Jess is saying here, this is a whole separate topic regarding the other creator who left the community. I'm not going to shit talk her at all. She's very young, and if people judge me based on weird shit, I'm glad I didn't have a platform at 18. If people judge me based on weird shit I did then. Aurora says, I don't agree with Sean Boston at all, but that's what he wants. He's not anti-MLM. He doesn't want to get rid of the company. Yeah, that's the thing too, is he's also a kind of like not all MLMs type of person where it's like some of them, like no, none of them are ethical in my opinion. All right, the soup looks just about done. Let's turn off the oven and get it out. Wow, Aurora, he called you what? Holy shit! That is unacceptable. All right, getting the soup. Oh, guys, the soup looks so good. Yeah, if anyone wants a full video on this type of topic, please let me know. I do not like, and when I first started getting into YouTube, when the AuthorTube drama happened, I said to myself, I will not expose anyone in my own community. But now looking back, it's like, sometimes that I see, like, I should never have thought I was above the other internet drama. No one ever is. Here's what the final soup looks like with the cheese baked on top. Look at that. Oh, my computer unplugged. That's not good. All right, everyone, I am going to head out now. If you have any other questions or things to say, the video will have a replay on YouTube after this. I think it'll replay on Twitch as well, so you're welcome to leave me a comment. Aurora, thank you. I'll take a look at your message. Thank you guys all so much for being here. I will be, video premiere tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning, Friday morning, 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern, I'm going to be premiering a video about book publishing scams. I'm collaborating with another author tuber. Lately, I've been trying to do videos connecting the anti-MLM and business scammer side of my channel more with the book and writing side of my channel. So I'm going to be doing a video where we're talking about some really scammy publishing companies, and I want to do more of these because business scams target authors a lot of the time too, and that's really important to me for obvious reasons. Savvy writes books. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 11 Central, noon Eastern. In the meantime, don't forget to support small businesses. Enjoy all of your respective dinners. I will enjoy my soup. Have a great evening. Bye.